think we should still try to get on here. Can you just see if you can get on the internet? All right, guys, I think the Wi-Fi collapsed here, and it's amazing the satsang continued. Yes, life here. Yes. So
we had a great one without you.
Oh, great! That's what I was talking about, the pause. Yeah. So we paused. Yeah. So I mean, I hope you got the illustration. Yeah. I hope when I stop talking about it, you sort of got it. Talking about it isn't about getting it. Talking about it is about not getting it. Yeah. Noah, come on. There's chairs over here. Yeah. We're having trouble with people, Wi-Fi, everything. Nice to see you, Noah.
Is there
All right, so we were talking about the idea of non-duality and its introduction into the head, maybe through a book or through YouTube or through a live satsang. And so the head, the streaming of the head is basically the only stream we know, basically, yeah? And then we introduce what we think is another aspect of that stream, and yet when you put the non-duality message in, it brings into stark contrast the stream you introduce it to, yeah? And it sort of questions the stream you introduce it to. And when it's under that question, the stream gets interrupted because it's not an infinite sort of scroll. It's an activity that's being reinforced by a lot of interest and attention. When it gets upset, or when it gets paused, a lot gets revealed. That's not going to be revealed trying to look through it while it's streaming. But when it stops, there's a huge amount of value there. And it's just sort of like the dilemma of trying to understand gravity. Oh, wow. More chairs. Do we put out a sale today? And we selling anything? Giving any trips for free or something? You better, I would sit in the sun. It's going to be a little cool. We're getting a lot of people, but they're all coming late. So, yes. I hope. Is it locked? Well, that door's open. All right, come on in. Yes. Nice to see everybody. We're going to pause once again. And we'll... Oh, don't worry about it, honey. Pay attention now. Put it away. Yeah, I got the phone. The phone's working. Can you still hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Just every once in a while, I'll look and then just give me a thumbs up or not if it's working. Yeah.
Really dedicated.
Actually, this could also be an example of what's wrong a lot in this world is this. Eating, talking and stuff like that. I'm watching a TikTok scroll. We're getting ideas from Muji, Ajishan, like this. Now let's go to the Dead Masters. Let's go to the Dead Master site. I like that better. All right. So, again, what? Is it working again? All right.
I'll just keep this one.
Keep it there. So you can hear us. Hey, let's just forget everything that happened.
Paul, you have to unmute on your laptop too.
Can you hear us now?
Yep, all good.
Forget about everything, and this is the moment. It's the moment that the satsang is going to start. But you got your hair blow dried there, Noah. It looks sort of strange. It's like your crops have come up. It's like the bulbs we put in. They're bouncing up. All right. So we were attempting to talk vaguely about non-duality and the introduction to non-duality to us. Yeah. And if you've been introduced to a lot of things, even in this one venue of spirituality, after you've been introduced to a few of them, the introduction's similar, yeah? You get introduced to Buddhism or something else, and then it's still all about you. And then Buddhism tries to explain something, and then there's an offering of things to do with the hopes that you're going to be able to get what's being implied through the Buddhism. Yeah, let's say acquiring the nature of the Buddha through the act of practicing Buddhism. Yeah. So all this, and then yoga, maybe the first thing, you get a book and there's a few postures, then you get videos, and then you go to a 10-day thing, then you think you're a yoga teacher, whatever. Then all this happens. Same thing, Thai massage, everything. Yeah. So this thing is different though, because non-duality, first of all, have you ever met, all right, this is going to be amazing retreat we're going on, a non-retreat? No. Or a yoga retreat with no yoga, no. Yeah, you're going to get something. It's going to be full of what the name is saying: yoga retreat, meditation retreat, tantra retreat. Hopefully a lot of people are going to be disappointed there and stuff like that. And then here, the message is non-duality. So what? Yeah, non-duality. Well, all right, I want oneness. I signed up for the oneness retreat, but I don't like its companion, the non-duality retreat. But the non-duality retreat is completely as necessary to actually happen before the second retreat. Yes? But usually it happens after the second retreat. So now the non-duality retreat needs to be accompanied by some warnings that weren't being presented in the retreat you went first to, which is the oneness retreat. Yeah, I just listened to something on YouTube. This whole idea of DMT and all this stuff, there's still the sense of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity that's doing all these mystical travels. And then they're trying to describe from this what a DMT entity looks like. Of course, it's going to look like how it looks like from this. Yeah, because this is all that's going on. A lot of ways. This is what non-duality negates, this idea of the you that's presupposed before everything else. Yeah. The simple one is, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Which comes first, the seeing or the seer? The hearing or the hearer? The feeling or the feeler? The thinker or the thinking? Which one? And just in your own raw, not PhD style investigation, just look. It sort of seems like seeing occurs, and then there's the implied idea of being the seer. Yeah. And how the seer overrides its being after the before of the seeing. It's presupposed to be before the seeing. This is the whole thing. If you hear a teaching of Ramana Maharshi, and if it's an expansive one, and a lot of people who heard Ramana Maharshi wrote about his teachings, you'll find this statement in it, in all of them, maybe said in a different way, a little bit different, but always emphasized as the problem or the greatest mystery or something like that. And this is the simple cog that seems when it's not noticed, it's the essential driving force of all the other engines. Yes. So this cog of there's a presupposing of a non-existent thing. Let's call it the body in this case. Yes. So the body without life moving through it is non-existent. Yes. It's a thing. It's inert, but it's not an action thing. It's a thing, seemingly. So this non-existent thing, what is this being presupposed, and where is it being presupposed in? It's being presupposed in the head, yeah? And what's being presupposed is the non-existent thing is an existent thing. Yeah, seems innocent, really. So the inert thing is now taken to be an existent thing. But what's not being emphasized is the existence. the thing is getting emphasized. So now there's the thing that's existing. It's not even an existent thing, it's the thing that's existing. Yeah. And the thing that's existing, its thing existing is called Paul's life. That's the narrative. That's the story. Paul's life is when the non-existent thing is presupposed to be the existent thing. What comes with that is the accessory of a fucking narration about that for the rest of your freaking days. Yes? It can be interrupted, it can be paused, a lot of shit, but it just keeps stumbling and rumbling on. Yeah. And so, okay, now the non-existent thing is taken to be the existent thing at the expense of the existence and at the emphasis of the thing. Yeah. So the mental state, fuck the existence, the thing is all that matters. Paul is all that matters. Okay, seems innocent again. So what happens? Things aren't working out. It's a little irritable, restless, discontent. Something feels to be missing and all this shit. And so it runs into a lot of things to maybe deal with that condition. And one of them is spirituality. And so he says, if this is the case, which he's implying this is the case, yeah, that there's a mental presupposing of the non-existent thing to be an existent thing, and then looking for salvation for the non-existent thing instead of from the non-existent thing. See, the salvation from the non-existent thing is already established. You're not the non-existent thing. See, so there's no arriving at it or making it established, nor not establishing it. Yeah, it's established. Yep. So, okay. Now, the non-existent thing, as the existent thing, wants to get salvation from all of its troubles and woes. Who wouldn't? What wouldn't? Yeah. And he says, all right, if this is the case, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. What are they reinforcing the non-existent thing as? The existent thing. Yeah. How can they destroy it? So, what the company you're hiring to break down the building is adding levels to the building. Yes. And the thing you'd want to get out of, there's another bigger thing you're in, which is the one who's trying to get out of shit. Yeah. This is the bondage that you see in spirituality. I've seen it there. Yeah. People want to be there to experience their own absence. They want to get it. They want to get that what they are is the obstruction to. They want to get it as the obstruction. It ain't going to happen. That's the beautiful message here. You're not going to get it. Because we're talking to that right now that believes if it only plays its hand right, and now I was doing a whole lot of shit. Now I've learned a subtle idea. I'm going to be the not doer of a lot of shit. But, obviously I'm still the doer, but I'm not doing now. I'm on the path of not doing. And the stubbornness of it is mechanical, and it's not you. See, self, this system of self cannot get out of the system of self. You don't apply it. You see it applied. You observe the message taking effect. You're not the driver of the message. So just get introduced before you're the one who got the shot. Just get the shot. Get the shot of satsang and see what happens. The story, maybe this time you'll see the story of the one who got the shot. Is it you? What a novel idea. Yeah, because then you're complaining about, I shouldn't have got the shot. I should have got a bigger shot. It goes on and on and on. More or less, this, that, farther, closer. But if you go before, it stops everything. You're not the one who got the shot. Your opinions about getting the shot mean absolutely fucking nothing because you didn't get the shot. Yeah, what? Yeah, and the shot was already got. It's too late. Yeah, so you're not wanting to get the shot, but it's a little too late. You got the shot. So this way, this is the beauty of it. The message will pause this activity, see, if you hear a message like a great statement by Huang Po, an old Zen master, he said, whatever can be perceived. So let's see right now. Are you perceiving something? Yeah, you're perceiving this body. You maybe perceive it in the back. You're perceiving the wind blowing. It seems to be cold. You're perceiving, then you may have thoughts that you're perceiving that saying, I should have brought a jacket. Why did I fucking forget the jacket? On and on. All this is going on, yes? So whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. Wow, incredible, yeah. Whatever can be perceived, so where you are, this is a perceived, yeah? Where I am, that is a perceived. We've just negated each other. Whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. Now, all right, you hear that, go in the head, just listen to it, 5 minutes, streaming going by. Its whole narrative is based on the exact opposite statement. What can be perceived is what's perceiving. This is the point. Yeah, this isn't about, oh, I found a mistake on page 340, chapter 43. No, the whole premise of the book is off. Yeah. The first page is off. So if trying to figure it out at 235 page, you've been reinforcing that which you wanted to destroy for the last 235 pages. You think that 236 is going to work? No, it's going to be used to reinforce that which you'd like to get relieved of. Yeah, this is the message of non-duality, not two. Where can we see the essence of not two in all? It's got so many gradations and shit, but let's take it subject object right where you're sitting. Yeah. Do you feel like you're the thinker at times? Yes, that would be a subject. And do you feel like you're thought about? Yes. Right where you're sitting. You change seats all day. You don't. The seats get changed. Sometimes you're thought about, so there you are as the subject. I'm thinking about Paul as sort of an object, but a very cherished object because I'm identified as Paul, but I'm talking to him about him in the head, just like I would when I was taking someone's inventory. Yes, I would be the subject and I'd be looking at you as an object. But we're taking this away and just bringing it right here. This fluctuates all day. Subject object is the essence, that's dualism, it's the essence of duality. Yeah. And why do we see things the way we see things? Do you believe this is a dualistic world? No. It's an event. We are projecting the dualism and then we see everything dualistically. Yes. There isn't a real this is all right. The fourth planet in this constellation. First, there was the oneness, which we seem to have left. I don't know why I feel so much fucking guilt. I split from the oneness planet. Now I'm in the dualistic planet. No, it's a projection. We're dreaming. Yes. So as within, so without. As within duality, so without duality. Actually, as within dualism, so without duality. Yes. And you can see the duality here, and maybe it'll help you to see the duality here. That's a value. You can see that you do something, and then something else happens. Yeah. And sometimes I get caught by a lot of unintended consequences because I can't see past my nose. I can't figure out that, oh, if I do this, therefore that may happen. Yeah? Because of this blindness here. So if false evidence appears real as a daily effect, which is an acronym for fear and recovery, false evidence appearing real. It doesn't appear real, it's appearing real to us. False evidence cannot appear real. False evidence appearing real is an act. That happens quite a lot. Why is it so plentiful that false evidence is appearing real to us? Because we're looking seemingly from false evidence appearing real to us. Yeah. The false evidence that the non-existent thing is the existent thing. That's false evidence. So this false evidence begets more false evidence. We're trying to get clear about all the false evidence governing, but we're not clear about the false evidence we're representing. What's the point? I've seen tons of people super clear about what's going on, but they still think it's going on about them. There's an unclarity about this that's not matched with the clarity about here. And I have no interest in the clarity about here if you're not clear about this. It's like being a professor of holes, but you're still falling into holes. What's the point of the knowledge? It's not going anywhere. What's the point of the knowledge to see the world as dualistic when you don't see this dualism? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. If you want to get to the one, you got to see you're not the two. Because if you don't, you're going to try to get to the one as the two. Yeah. If you don't see you're not the one, yeah. If you don't see this two-ness as not you, that is going to reinforce this dream of being a one, yeah? But you're going to try to, like Jesus said, a rich man, let's say a richness of this delusion can't get into heaven, because there's too much of them. So you want to be there to experience your own absence. This is what happens. People have all these experiences and they may be absent, but as soon as the head regroups, claims it, now they're DMT users. Yes? The fucking, whatever message it had gets neutered and it gets used to reinforce the old message that the non-existent thing is the existent thing. Yeah. This is why the question is before the answers start happening. Just question here. Yeah. See. Do I feel I'm thinking about me? I do. Do I feel like I'm the thinker of everyone else? I'm thinking about Ali? Yes. One sense I'm a subject, the other sense I'm an object. It goes on all day, almost like a salt and pepper shaker that you shake up. It lands here, salt, the other pepper. Yeah. Yeah. So the message is simple. This is why it worked with me. It stopped me when the first book I ever read was Who Cares by Ramesh Balsekar, which I like that title, Who Cares? Yeah. And it was just blew my mind. I would be reading and my head would stop. And sometimes I just put the book down. Sometimes I could see it almost like when you break a thermometer and all the shit, and then it regroups. I could see like the shit, and then regrouping. I could see the head selfing again. Yeah. Its weak fabric was shown to be totally empty, and then regroup. I could see it. And then I read another, what? Just break it again. And after a while, there was a lot to learn from it. Not when it regrouped, yeah, but when there was that pause. Because when it regrouped, I saw it differently. Yes, yes. And it doesn't do well. It doesn't mind when you're looking at everything else. It doesn't like to be looked at, yeah? Because that means you're recognizing that you are the awareness and you are not the system, yeah? And that's where the truth lies, yeah? Is what is before the seeing is not a seer. What is before the hearing is not a hearer. What is before the feeler is not a feeler. It's not. That's after. The idea of the feeler, the thinker, the hearer, the doer is after. It uses time here as a magic trick. It's almost like a trampoline it bounces on and then gets presupposed before everything. Now you're the thinker and the doer and the haver and the loser. Yeah, it's not true. It never has been true. It never will be true. This is a verbing only situation. Yeah, this is why I use the word self, because I'm out of recovery, but selfing is a much better description of it. It's selfing. It's a mental verb that goes on, and this mental verb is used to imply a noun. Yeah, and then the noun gets presupposed before all these other verbs, and now you have the great joy of ownership and the great suffering of ownership. Yeah, You're now 40 years later still going to the guilt and shame based on what you did 40 years ago. The long arm of the past is still on your shoulder after 40 years. Even people may not like the judicial system of America, but they do have statute of limitations. There's a point where they're not going to fucking arrest you for something. They just 12 years, they have a big window, but it hits a point, you're not getting pulled in. Where in your head is that mercy? Where is it? No. Where is in the head, where is that mercy? There isn't. You're completely convicted of shit you never did. And it's never erased. That file can stay open. Can you imagine if you were dying in the hospital and the head goes to those files, you'll never be forgiven for what you did in 2000. You passed away on that note. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, you could have been looking at a bird fly by or your other patient friend, but no, you were in the fucking world of what's not happening. And then suddenly you're in what's not happening. The last note. So, and we were talking about it on the recovery thing. Even the body demonstrates, you know how much shit you and I have eaten that we shouldn't have eaten? Does the body fucking cast aspersions at us? No, it just farts. It farts or it throws up or fucking feels a little weird and then regroups. That's why we got the liver to cleanse all our fucking mistakes. And it does a fucking great job. I mean, I shot tons of shit into my vein. The vein did not like it. You ever been in the hospital when they put those IVs in? The body does not want those IVs in. It's one of the most painful spots of suffering if you're in a long-term hospital. They can't find any veins anymore. And they're jabbing it in. And the body's just saying, no mas, no more fucking this shit. Just does not want it in. And then they fail in a day or two because the body is like, that's fucking it. Yeah. But look at what we've done. And has it fucking cast us aside? No. It fucking regroups and puts up with so much fucking shit as shit, really. Coming out. Yeah. Yet, where is there any of that in your head? And it's even worse because let's say it had a large wealth of data, which is what you did, but then it gets to another realm of what you didn't do that you should have done. So you can't win. It's like, all right, I sucked almost everything out of life. Let's turn it over. I didn't do. Just sucking shit out. There is a solution. It's not in that. The solution is to see you're not that. If you don't see that, you're going to look from it. And then life, either quickly or slowly, is going to be replaced by a mental interpretation. Yeah. And you're going to be saddled with a pair of glasses that you're going to have to find some really good, skillful means to break, which is you're going to see everything as how it pertains to you, the you that you're not. And instead of recognizing the inherent freedom from it, you'll be trying to be free as it for years and years and years. Yeah. Always failing and never seeing the value of the failing, just piling on. I should have stayed longer in India. I should have done this. I should have done that. On and on and on. Instead of seeing the great gift of failure here, which is you can't arrive at where you already are. You can't. Yeah. You cannot start becoming what you already are. You've never not become, you have never not been it. So the failure of all these efforts to arrive at some place, somewhere at some other time, They are meant to fail, just like masters are meant to fail, just like saviors are meant to fail, so that you realize you don't need to be saved. Yeah. So this is the freed from the need to be saved. It's the freed from the need to be liberated, from the need to be better, free to the need to be, I believe I'm completely worse, free from all this shit. Yeah. And the first thing you'll see, all the, the action figure bulbs will grow in that spring. The relief that it will bring, the action figure may get to its best condition it's ever been in without you constantly dropping in to check out its condition as your condition. Yeah. I saw it, man. When the head was keen and me being healthy, I got sick as hell. I swear, I remember had trouble with the digestion. I got interested in macrobiotics. If you didn't know about it, it's a trippy thing. I met the guy, Michio Kushi, who was the head dude. The only thing I remember from that interview is not to eat onions. That's the only thing. He said tons of shit to me. The only thing I left with, got to stay away from onions. So this macrobiotic, no water, nothing, just bancha tea. I could go into a sauna, 210, no sweat. There was no water content in my body. My whole universe was my small intestine. My mind was on it all day, seeing how I was feeling. It was the worst fucking thing I ever did. Not the macrobiotics, but I being the doer of it. See ya. Yep. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I was the biggest element of the disease. And I got these examples over and over again. I got it with the fucking, the probiotics, where for years, nothing was working. And back then, billions was a lot, intestinal flora. And then something from Canada came out with trillions. So they're going to give you trillions of immigrants, beneficial flora to put into your little world. And I just open border, man. I bought these little milk bottles from Canada, $42 a pack from Whole Foods, and drank it religiously for over a year. And I was trying to talk, am I doing better? Oh yeah, talking to the same person, because who wants to look like an idiot spending $2,000? Of course I must be feeling better. So, and then I realized, all right, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, literally. And I got in touch back then in the New Age world. There was a place called Smoky Mountain Labs in Tennessee. And I called them up and they sent me an application, and you made a list of what that you would want them to check. They're going to check your stools. Yeah. So of course, everyone was afraid of having parasites when you're really living as a parasite, but that's why. Exactly. The fear is misplaced. It's not misplaced, but where it's pointing at is completely misplaced. Yeah. So first thing I asked, and I asked all these other things, got the kit, sent the shit there. Couldn't wait to get them but I was drinking religiously that beneficial flora. I get the report, no parasite. Great. Yeah. All right. Go down to the next paragraph. Signs of beneficial intestinal flora, 0.000. The whole civilization had been wiped out. What? I put trillions of these fuckers in there. Where did they go? I mean, I didn't see the boats. I didn't see what happened. There was a genocide. I had no idea. Someone going, what? And I read the next paragraph. Oh, Mr. Hedderman, we found that you have two bacteria that love the beneficial flora. So I hate to break the news to you, but you basically have been catering high-level fucking flora to these bacteria. They grow quite large. And that was just like, what? So I was catering, giving them really high-end shit, trillions of it. At the same time, they were gobbling up, getting bigger and bigger. See, this is a dilemma. I've had these examples many times. When I get involved in it, things go awry. Yeah. how can I get out of me as me? I can't. Finally, a novel fucking idea. You may not be that you really want to get out of. And I had tons of evidence of really wanting to get out of this you with drug addiction and everything else. I would be willing to overdose, and I did, with the hopes that at the point when the body was finally dying, I'd be there free for 30 seconds or something, and then gone. It made sense. It did. It made sense. I went out of my way to try to do it, but at that point, you would be shooting so much up, you could not hold anything straight. You'd have to be shot up by someone else, and that someone else would see your eyes starting to go, and they wouldn't push the whole thing in. So you never get the whole shot you wanted to take, and then you just flip out. But you come back, always you'd come back. Yeah. All of that shit, self was never lost. Yeah, because self is never found. It's imagined. It's constantly imagined and reinforced and remembered. So I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, it's because there's a before all this, and that's what we are. We can't arrive at it because we are it. We can't get it because we are it. We can't lose it because we are it. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you can't comprehend it because the way we think, you can't think of this. Can't perceive it, you can't get it. Yeah, it's completely foreign to how we are built as the machine, as the action figure. And this machine has programs. It's not AI. And those programs, and one of them, we have a lot of people having to go through destitution, pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization, arrived at the recognition that this idea of self cannot get out of self, though it will never believe that. It will just keep on keeping on. If it fails, it just backs up, gets into another vehicle. Drugs fail, spirituality. Spirituality fail, back to drugs, maybe. Drug fail, become a householder, whatever. Yeah, it just doesn't get it. And all the while, it's not getting it, you feel is a choice. You feel you're choosing to bring about your own demise. That's insanity. You do not hate yourself. You are not your own worst enemy. There's something in us that's playing that role. And we need to see it as foreign so we can possibly entertain this possibility of being free from it. You can't be free as it, but you can be free from it, and you're inherently free from it. You're not going to be an action figure or a freedom warrior. You're before that. You're free of all the brands and all the tags and all the identities. You're free of it. You are what you're looking for. This is the simple assumption non-duality offers. You know, as Ramana said, the greatest mystery is being ourselves reality, aka being ourselves, wants to attain reality. And he says, you know, you're going to get this one day. And when you do, you're going to laugh your balls off, I'm paraphrasing. And today could be the day. Just laugh your fucking gonads off. Because it's hilarious, literally. I mean, it's so obvious when it's finally noticed. When it's finally noticed, it makes a big impression, a huge impression. Yeah. Very hard to forget after you, it's like he said, your head is in the tiger's mouth. It's very hard. So here we are, another day. I just enjoy the hell out of hearing it. I do. I was waiting around. I didn't meet many people I could hear it from, so we had to play the role. Yeah. So if you were willing to be useful, something was going to use you. That's the whole point. And it's not, but it's still musical chairs in the action figure world. The clear emphasis is message, and the auxiliary is messenger. Yeah. The message is the key. The messenger is attached to a musical chair scene, and the music will go on, and you're going to get up, and it may stop every time before the same chair. It's still not your chair. It's musical chairs. Gets up, you get up, you walk around. Oh, all right, here we are again, another Saturday. Could happen where it never happens again. Yeah. But the message is untouchable. Beautiful. I would imagine it can bring about a vast amount of relief that you can acquire on your own. Yeah. Traveling light is how we describe it. See, if you are awareness, there's no value in that because you are awareness. Yeah. But if you are awareness, there's value here because you're not living as if you are awareness. Yeah. So the value of the message truly is in where the problem seemingly resides. Yeah. Because it can negate the problem. It can put the problem to rest so that you see from its point of view, the solution is only a solution where there seems to be a problem. When the problem is seen, there's no solution. Yeah, it just is. That's the way it goes. You can't get before what's before. So, yep. It's constantly stokes me for years. Yeah. It's the only really, it's been one of the greatest, because the light it shines is like a smiling light. It's a very, and it just brings an assurance where you can't find one. Yeah, out here. I mean, I have these things with the legs from getting run over. Every morning they could be terrible. They're good. It's a crapshoot. You wake, I go to sleep, but I go to sleep like a baby. You're going to deal with what goes on when it's going on. While it's not going on, I'm making a lot of hay. Then if something happens, I'll be able to deal with that. But the reliability in the legs is not reliable. The reliability in what comes and goes is not reliable. The reliability in what is fluctuating conditions upon conditions is unreliable. Yeah. But there is something, it's not a something, there is a reliability in all of our lives, and it is the basis of our lives. And instead of trying to move ahead and find it, just give up that shit and you'll drop into it. Yes. You are what you're looking for. Did anything ever say that to you before? Not, I hadn't heard it. Non-duality has been the greatest soother, the most disarming message, because all the evidence to verify it was true was there. It just wasn't being collated correctly. My head was making it into something else. Yeah, like it always does. But I heard it before the head. Yeah? I remember when I was at satsang, I felt like this is like a knowledge before knowledge, you know, and then it felt like an unspoken yes. Something hit me, and I just, without knowing it, I just knew it. I just knew this was it. And then it had proven itself to be the last answer, which is an incredible answer in time, because it takes away the need for any other answers. Fantastic, yeah. So, yeah. All right. Any questions at the live meeting? Are we still on? Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're still on. I don't see any hands up, so if anyone has a question, you can
We have a question.
raise your hand.
We have a question in the live meeting, so yeah.
Wellness, and I got a certification to be a wellness coach. And now I feel like I go out to the making mischief. Like I just think I'm becoming the problem. How people try to get healthy, try supplements, and to look at their, environmental detox and their nutrition and hormones. It's like
Did you ever read the Bhagavad Gita? Read a little bit of it. Yeah. Where Arjuna's faced with something like this guy named Arjuna, and the guy who runs his chariot is actually the all and everything, Krishna or something. And so, but then he doesn't reveal himself until this moment where Arjuna is perplexed because he's going to a battle scene where he's going to be fighting some family members and shit. And he's all concerned and like, you know, I have this wellness degree and like, how am I going to apply it? And Arjuna says, fuck them, basically. This is everyone's destiny. Go out there and do your fucking duty. Yeah, so there you go. And what you are is going to speak louder than what you say. Yeah. Wouldn't it be the greatest advertising of wellness if you're well? Yeah. And here, people don't get that they're just well. They need magic for a while. So you give them 8 things to do and 5 of them work and they feel better. And they think, oh, I attribute it all to that, but it was just their minds. Their minds just gave up the ghost and now they're feeling better. It really is. Mind is before everything. Big M mind. It's before everything. When there's relief, it isn't from that thing. It was from here, about that thing. The relief is here about things, not the things aren't relieving us. Yeah. And it's difficult. Like I had a lot of joy surfing. Yeah. But the water wasn't the source of the joy. It teased the joy out of me. It didn't put the joy in. Yeah, yeah. If anything, if you see it any other way, there's a dependency there that the head's going to have a field day with. It is. Yeah. Yeah. This is like an all or nothing thing. Because once you give an inch, there's going to be a mile. It's going to start, it's like a cartographer. It's going to map shit out, go on and on. Yeah. So, yeah, just do your seat assignment to the best of your ability. And maybe you can laugh a little with them about, you know, isn't this fucking absurd that we're so obsessed with this? Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Make sure you do that after they buy the supplement. You know, yeah. Don't you see people take pills and then they test it and the placebo produces the same effect? What is that? But what does that entail? But we're in a dreaming. Yeah. Aren't we? If something cured something and nothing else did, then a placebo wouldn't work. You'd have to take the pill. But if there's a belief in the pill as the placebo as being the pill, and you believe that the pill could heal you, the placebo can do just as good a job because the healing isn't coming from the fucking pill or the placebo. It's mind, yeah? Obviously. The flower doesn't come from the top of the tree, it's from the root, right? The root allowed the flower to do the thing. Without the root, there's not going to be a flower. Yeah. We don't ever see the root, do we? No, most people, let me show you these great pictures I have of oak and redwood roots. What? No, roots, yeah. No, who's interested in that? Oh, the size, unbelievable. Yeah. I'm a believer, like we have a thing, trauma in some circles is like the root of all things now, trauma. Everyone's been traumatized. But what gives meaning to the trauma is not the trauma. The trauma is an event like many other events, but what gives meaning to the trauma is the trauma, literally. So it's what's before, and I had experiences with this when I was in this floor of, you know, people with very badly damaged skeletal systems, you know, a lot of broken bones. And they knew that we should talk to each other because we were extremely screwed, you know, that level. And they would thought that you would maybe stay healthier if you would talk with others who had things. And so I did. I had met them, and then they were hoping that when you left the hospital, you would come back to meetings and share. And so, yeah, one person there got into this terrible accident, became an alcoholic. The alcoholic got in a terrible accident, stopped drinking. Yeah. There was all different results from reacting to the trauma. Not, though the trauma was very similar, but the effects were completely different. That's mind. Yeah. Big on mind. Mind's before everything. If you and I give everything all the meaning it has, hey, this is one of the meaning that has been given. You and I, Oz, isn't Paul and Judy. You and I are what we are, and we are the dreaming. Yeah, and we're giving everything all the meaning it has. You mean trauma? Yeah, trauma. You mean this, past? Yes. Future? Yes. Now? Yes. Yeah. Whatever meaning. So if something can, what could be given meaning? Something that's empty of meaning. Yes, obviously. If something already had a meaning, then there would be a little battle between the meaning and then the meaning. Yeah. And if something was real, it would impose its reality on you. Does it? So Buddhism talks about the emptiness of things. So what are things empty of? An inherent existence. They are existing, but the thing is not the existence. They are appearing in existence. Yes? Yeah. So in a dream, what's giving everything all the meaning it has is not the dream, it's the dreaming. And we are the dreaming, if you read the Course in Miracles. The act we play here is the dreaming of the dream. This is it. So we are that which is giving everything all the meaning it has, but that which is giving everything all the meaning it has no meaning. Yeah. It has no qualities. It can't, there's no giving or taking it. It is beyond comprehension. And that's the beautiful thing. Try to comprehend that which is incomprehensible. It will show you the failure of what you're relying on. Yes? It's like we had that story about, everything we talk about this, we're trying to imply something. So if you have a camera that has a bad lens, like a plastic lens, or let's say a crack in the lens, yes? And you buy a $5,000 Nikon lens and put it on after it, you're gonna still see through the crack. The 5,000 Nikon lens is not going to change what's before it. The first lens is cracked. Yeah. And then, well, I'm going to get a bigger, longer one. It's still, the crack. Yeah. Bigger, better, surround sound, fucking HD. It's not going to change because what's in place is the first lens. Yeah. The first lens doesn't get affected by what comes after it, but affects everything that comes after it.
So is the dread. Obviously, the dreaming is the background of it all. But then the dreaming imposes there's a dream. Right?
No.
The dreaming is giving the meaning to the dream, and then the dream is giving emptiness all the meaning.
The dreaming isn't giving that meaning. I don't even think this is happening, really. But in this dreaming, the dreamt thinks it's doing everything, having everything, and being everything. And like they say in the Course in Miracles, this idea came in the mind of God and was displaced immediately. And we're sort of caught in a fucking imaginary loop of believing, sort of like if you had a virtual reality and they had one of those lost tapes. We're in one of those lost tapes. The dreamt, is limited. Find great value in recognition of its limitations. There's huge value in it. Yeah. When you see that which you're seemingly relying on is failed, it's going to open up possibilities. And the whole point here is when there's a loss of interest in the dreamt, not by the dreamt, that would be interest. There's a loss of interest in the dreamt, you now see a lot more information from another view than the dreamt view. Yes? Yeah. And maybe you start trying to find a word that can capture it, and dreaming sounds pretty good. Yeah. And you're not in a dream, you're not in someone else's dream, you're the dreaming of it. So there, you are not the dreamt. Yeah. So the dreamt is, yeah.
Is it more correct to say nothing's happening, or we just don't get, something's happening, we just don't get it?
I think there's a lot happening, but nothing ever happened. Yeah. That's my feeling. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening, but nothing ever actually happened. There, yeah. You know? Yeah. That's how I see it. There's a whole lot of happening, but nothing happened. Just how easy it for the day to be erased. You just go to bed. Yeah. You want it to stay more erased, get a Tempur-Pedic. Invest in the bed, it's important. You're in it 1/3 of the time. Get a good fucking bed if you can. That's the most enjoyable time, isn't it? When you're not here. How many people are happy when they go to sleep? How many people are happy when they wake up? There's less people happy when they wake up than all the happy people when they go to sleep. Why? Why is that? There's a lot of information there.
A happy memory tale comparison to no memory at all.
Exactly. All the shebang of this place, really. The glitter, wow, you know, yeah, yeah. There's nothing like absence. Absence, the peace of absence. It's true, isn't it? I mean, my father, you know, I had an incredible event when I was younger. My father was like every other father, you know, he was engaged with me. I was the youngest. I mean, my father got very ill. Yeah, so heart, blood pressure stuff. And so around 6, it got to a condition where my mother felt she had to talk to the kids because his role was going to change. Yeah, he wasn't going to be able to play with us as much and everything. So I didn't sit down with all the other kids. I think they took us one at a time. And my mother sat down with me. And then you usually have family doctors. So I had a Dr. Jan Quinto, he was the family doctor. And they sat me outside on a little picnic table thing. And they were talking to me about, you know, Dad's not going to play with you as much, you know, it's not feeling good. And I had no idea about illness, about all that shit. I was 6 years old. So I'm sitting there listening, and I think I can intellectually understand what they're saying. But how I felt was, what did I do to cause my father not to want to play with me? That was an incredible revelation. Yeah. What did I do? Of course, this thing that it really had very little to do with me as the act itself. It was all about my father getting ill, could only be seen as how it had to do with me from the view I was looking at it from. Yes, it was so obvious. Oh, in hindsight, it just stuck out like a sore thumb. I've never forgotten it since. And then when my father passed away, it was a day we're going to have lunch. And my father was upstairs. He was in my room. And my mother was cooking, and she wanted me to get my father. So I yelled and no one answered. So I went up there, went in, and my father was sleeping like this. And his head was turned over and he had a nice smile on himself. And I couldn't wake him up. Didn't know what was going on. So I called my mother. My mother comes in the room. And when I see her reaction, I know something happened. He was dead, you know. But the impression was he was fucking happy to me, blew my mind. He had a smile. I hadn't seen him smile in a while. So when he was relieved of the physical weight that he was living under, it was a joyous moment. And then, you know, it left a big impression on me. It really did. Because I, you know, yeah, made a huge impression. And I find even when you have moments of out of the body, it's a joy, isn't it? Really. You don't know how much of the experience is drenched in the body condition. And a lot of times we're taking the body condition to be our condition. And there's a lot of questions because why do I feel so shitty? It's not you. It's sometimes it's the body's just not working well. But if you've been relieved of the body condition and come back, you realize where most of the suffering arises out of in a lot of levels. Yeah. Yeah. So this isn't about, I think the body gets more honored with less interest, to tell you the truth. The mental interest is not, obviously it goes overboard and it turns into, it's not bueno. Yeah, its interest gets magnified. It's like when I was a kid, I found a little bug and I was interested in looking at its colors and I got a magnifying glass from the house. And unbeknownst to me, while I was looking, the sun was coming and I was magnifying the sun and killed the fucking bug, cooked it almost. I was like, look at what? It was like a laser beam. I was shooting it. This is like the head. When the head becomes, the head is a magnifying lens, yeah? So, and that magnification goes up, not by the glass, but by the interest and the attention. The interest and the intention amps up the magnification quality. So you get, you know, a lot of people that aren't having other people bounce, you know, like rationality on them. They're in a like a Himalayan fucking mountainscape made of molehills. Yes. Their head has mutated and magnified things so way out of proportion that this happened with me in recovery. We have an inventory, and one of the things you can do at the inventory is share your secrets to another person. And I had one when I was younger. I swore I was never going to tell anybody, and I'd been pretty good at it, never told anybody. And I realized when they presented this idea, that seems valuable. Maybe I can dump this fucking secret, you know, safe place. So I'm ready, you know, should I say it now? And then I did it and he yawned, he missed it. And I had to do it again. So that which I said I was never going to say, I said twice in like less than a minute. And I'll tell you, as soon as I put it out there, the size and weight of it shrunk. Just by putting it out here, it shrunk. Unbelievable. And again, that made a huge impression on me. These things, I hope satsang triggers past and present and future impressions because they're always at the same moment now. To me, satsang can trigger impressions. You have the information. It's just maybe collated in let's say a jealous, biased way. If you could take the information out of the purview of the head and just have that unsuspected inner resource, your own awareness, not your own, the awareness, and have it tell you what it means, it's going to be quite fucking enlightening. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, I think we're done today. Eh? Anyone out here? No? Anyone in there, Martin?
No questions so far, no.
Well, so far it's over. So we've gone so far. All right, I'm gonna start saying goodbye. Hey, is it locked? There's a door over there. Oh, use a hat. All right, I'm gonna look in here for a second. I can't see any of them. All right, I gotta go in the dark. Hey, thanks for sticking with us today, Jamie and Barbara, Martin. Hey, Martin, thank you so much. I hope to do this again. Hey, I have an announcement. I want to know if anyone would like to help Zen Bitch Slap. Mike Z is usually the person who posts the event page, and he has a problem like I have. We forget. Now, if the person who's gonna have the event and the person, I need someone who doesn't forget. So, and Michael is happy to show you how to put it on the website so that we can keep everything current. Because sometimes we're gonna have the meeting at another location and it doesn't get up on the website early enough. All right, so if you're interested in that, you can either email me or chat with Mike Z or someone, and he'll explain how to do it. It's not a very heavy work. We don't change much. Okay, all right. So Martin, iPad 3, anew. Thank you for the warning today. Oh, Vlad in Portugal. Nice to see you, Vlad, as always. Sherry, San Diego. Ben, nice to see you, Ben. Rick L, Axel, Germany. David B. Another Ben. Yeah. Mike Clark, Mexico. Terry, Bill Churchman, Andy, Dennis, Zoe from Japan. Nice to see you, Zoe. Roman Mueller, Eric P, Esther. Seems like you're doing well, Esther. Very happy. Steve in San Diego, Frank G. Finally got the mayonnaise. We've got Roman Mueller, Fletch, Floyd, some phone numbers, Andre, Chris H, Mike G from San Clemente. Jay, are you back, Jay, yet?
Yeah, I'm back in Canada now.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, Lynn D, Kenneth. I think I get Dennis. I think we got John here. No, this is who? I lost him. All right, well, listen, everyone, thank you. Another Ben. Thank you for showing up. Everything's on the website. Yeah, have a great day. See you. Thank you.
Paul, I just emailed you through the web that I'm happy to help with the website.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll get in touch with you.
If you have
All
a
right.
few of us, and you could send a message and whoever's there can do it, you know?
Yeah, I will. All right, bro. Thank you.